Hello Reddit. Today I fucked up by being accidentally racist. So this happened 2 days ago, and I'm still cringing. Recently I've taken an interest in chess and my school runs an after-school chess club for beginners, so I thought I'd go along. So anyway, here I'm about to play my first game of chess ever. I sit down at the black pieces and my opponent has the white pieces. I should now mention my opponent was African American. The chess teacher says first rule of chess, whites go first. I think to myself, wow, that's pretty racist, but chess is an old game, so maybe they kept the rule out of tradition. So I grab a pawn and slide it forward, then I look up expecting my opponent to make his move. Instead I'm met with a look of confusion and horror. I begin to hear laughter from the people watching. I then realize my error. Oh, you meant the pieces, I murmur. The teacher nods. Now everyone thinks I'm a massive racist. Today I fucked up by smoking in my backyard while my dad slept on the couch. An actual TIFU. Typically I smoke a joint before I go to bed every night, but tonight my dad fell asleep on the couch. I attempted to sneak out anyway without disturbing him, so I could smoke. I was able to unlock the door and get out there, but I guess the noise woke him up. I could see him through the window as I got outside, and as he began to get up I ducked down hoping he wouldn't see me. I sat down there for a couple minutes and figured he would have already come out if he heard the door open. I stand up and slowly peek through the kitchen window. My father is literally standing there in the middle of the kitchen with a fucking gun in his hand while on the phone. He sees me peek, completely under the impression that I'm a stranger trying to break into our home. I ducked down and screamed for him as loud as I could, hoping he could recognize my voice. I continued to scream and bang on the siding until he ran outside and realized it was me. My dad legitimately almost killed me, all for a fucking joint that I had to stomp up anyway because the cops were on their way. They thought it was pretty funny, but I felt really bad because they sent a good amount of cars out for nothing to even be wrong. My dad also laughed when I told him I went outside to smoke and told me he wouldn't have even cared. Today I fucked up by throwing a condom out my car window. So this happened about 5 years ago, but due to being new to Reddit, I've never shared the story before. Anyways, I recently had started dating this girl, and one night we decided to go for a drive, as my parents were home, and we were both feeling frisky. We get to a good spot, and I pull over, and we get in the back seat. When the deed is done, I need to dispose of the condom I just used, so I pull up to a dumpster just down to the street and fling the condom out the window into the dumpster. Given it was very dark outside, I didn't actually see the condom go into the dumpster, but I assumed I had made a perfect shot. The following morning, I had my mom bring my car in for maintenance, as the only appointment available was during the school day. About 10 minutes before the appointment started, I get multiple phone calls from my mom and decide to step out of class as it might be an emergency. As soon as I answer the phone, my mom says what the fuck, which I knew was really bad, as she never swears. She tells me that when she got out to fill my tank up, she noticed a used condom stuck to the side of the car door. It turns out, when I had thrown it out the window, it hooked around my finger and stuck to the side of my car door. My mom had driven my car all around town and ran multiple errands with my used condom splattered on the car door. I still cringe thinking about it today. Today I fucked up by ordering coffee with sunglasses on. This happened a while back. It was a nice sunny day and I wanted to grab myself a coffee before I headed home. I stopped off at McDonald's to order a regular white coffee. When it was ready I grabbed the coffee and grabbed some sugar to sweeten things up a bit. As I got to my table I opened up the lid to pour the sugar in, however, when taking a glance at the coffee it looked really dark. I just assumed the coffee was too strong or something, so I headed back to the register and asked why the coffee was so dark. When I got to the till I showed the cashier the coffee and suggested there might be something wrong with the coffee machine, but she shrugged it off and offered me a new coffee without paying much attention to the one I had in hand. A few minutes later my new coffee was ready, so I grabbed some sugar and headed back to my table. Yet again I took the lid off and thought the coffee was too dark. I was losing my patience at this point, so I went back to the cashier and insisted there must be something wrong with the machine. There I'm watching an employee inspect a coffee machine for a good 5 minutes just to say that everything was fine. Yet again they offered me a new coffee, so I took it, headed back to my table, and checked it again. It was still dark. Instead of taking it back this time, I decided to try it, and to my surprise it tasted fine. Confused, I sat there and decided to open my phone. When I turned it on, I could barely see the screen. It was then I realized that I had my fucking sunglasses on this whole time. So I had just wasted 2 perfectly good coffees, 10 minutes of the worker's time, and made a fool of myself. At this point, I was feeling stupid, so I grabbed my coffee and headed out the store as quick as I could.